go on to finance. So, December accounts. We have a resolution 255, be it resolved that we approve the accounts of November 2022 totaling $1,492,678.82 as reviewed and representing checks 2022-02-056 and to 2022-02-249, excluding 2022-02139 and 2022-02-208. Moved by Councillor Baird, you're going to have to say that back to me. Seconded by Councillor Kostenchuk. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
I'll move by myself. Next item.
You saw what you're checking yourself.
Okay, so Councillor Gerard and myself will remove ourselves to conflict. I'll ask Deputy Mayor Parrott to resume.
Okay, be it resolved that we approve check 2022-02139 and 2022-02208 for November 2022 to Home Hardware and Eco Gladstone Co-op, totaling $6,164.69. Motion by Sisley, seconded by J&J. Oh my God. Pottinger, yeah. Jamie and Joe, got it. Okay, all those in favor? Carried. Mind blank, sorry.
It's fine.
Now we have the audited financial statements. Everyone should have reviewed the statements. Any questions, concerns? Deputy Mayor Parrott.
Okay, so I just would like to say that, you know, as far as trusting our staff and all that is concerned, we do trust our staff. This is an audit done by, what is it, not Fraser.
Chambers Free.
Okay, so anyway, it's 35 pages long. We had to go through that thing, and we had a series of questions that, you know, came to my mind when we are in training for council. There are training sessions on what to do about when, you know, when you're asked to do an audit of this size, and so we're trying to look for discrepancies from year to year, and you know, if an invested money has gone way up, but the actual interest has gone way down, you know, things like that, or things just don't make sense. And so came up with about 16 different questions, and none of these questions were in error. I just didn't know what they meant and what they were for. So after reading it all, everything has been totally explained. In my head, anyway. So I'll move.
Okay. Moved by Deputy Mayor Parrott, seconded by Councillor Nadeau. Be it resolved that we approve the audited financial statements for the year ended December 31st, 2001, as presented by Chambers, Fraser and Company. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Muni site, you want to talk about?
So this is a regular annual resolution you require, and it's usually with a company called Uniware. Things have changed. Munisite has now bought Uniware, and it's since Catalyst, I think, is the new company. Anyway, the agreement will be with Munisite, and normally they give us a fee for running our software and providing the support on a yearly basis. They've changed it to a 3-year basis where they're going to lock it down to the same price. And If you measure it against prior year, it's actually about $100, $120 cheaper than the prior year. So the annual support from Uniware Momentum license will be $8,428.14 locked in for a 3-year period if you're in Florida. We can't run the building without it, that's all I can say. They support it.
Okay, I don't think there'll be a lot of questions on that, so, Resolution 258, be it resolved that we approve the 3-year Uniware Momentum License and Professional Services Agreement with MuniSite for 2023 to 2025 in the amount of $8,428.14 plus taxes per year. Moved by Councillor Pottinger, seconded by Councillor Kostenchuk. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, so we have gone through and discussed the variation application. So Resolution 259 reads, be it resolved that we approve the variation application B032022 of Greg and Brenda Nelson respecting lots 14 and 15, block 62, plan 256 at 605 Brown Avenue to vary the maximum height of the fence from the required 3 feet to 5 feet in the front yard within the RS residential single unit zone. Moved by Councillor Gerard, seconded by Councillor Kostenchuk. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, I will ask Deputy Mayor Parrott again to step in, and I'll remove myself due to conflict.
Okay, be it resolved that we approve the variation application B02-2022 of Neepawa Gladstone Co-op Limited respecting Lot 8, Plan 5305 at 500 Provincial Transport Highway 5 North to vary the maximum height of the fence from required 3 feet to 5 feet in the front yard within the commercial highway zone. Moved by, I'll slow my head on here, Councillor Kostenchuk, seconded by Councillor Sisley. All those in favor? Carried.
Can I just propose, just a similar amendment, actually say 6 feet, sorry.
6.
That's my error.
Friendly amendment from 5 to 6 as a clerical error. I'll ask again. Moved by Kostenchuk, seconded by Sisley. All those in favor? Carried.
Okay, 2023 Viterra Championships. Colleen, is there anything more to add?
So we got a request from the host committee for the Neepawa Viterra Men's Provincial Curling Championship to be held February 17th, 2023 in Neepawa. And they're looking for sponsors to support the event because it's very costly to actually host this. They're offering different packages of support. The first one being a gold package of $4,000. The second being a silver package for $2,500, a bronze package for a value of $1,000, and then a Friends of Viterra for $200. And of course, they would take any other donations that could be possible. Recommendation based on the value you're going to receive for your money, and you can change that. The resolution was put forward with a recommendation that we support a gold package, which would give you most exposure and logo within the ice. Very important for the overhead cameras and whatnot that will be, displaying this on local TV. And so we're asking support for the gold package at $4,000. This can be pushed to January 1st. Should this year's budget, because we all know our grants have been expended, should we not be able to accommodate it, we'll push it to January 1st, 2023 for payment.
Questions?
So this bond spiel has been put on. Is there any destination for the profit from this?
Sorry, I should have mentioned that. It's actually a host committee. It's a joint venture by the Curling Club group and the Yellowhead group. So the monies will be split because the event will be hosted at both locations with curling ice actually installed into the skating rink as well.
So this is a win-win.
Yeah.
In the past, that event has raised typically anywhere from $70,000 to $100,000 to be split between those clubs, which is massive to the long-term sustainability of the whole.
So you're saying we're going to do it?
Okay. Resolution 261, be it resolved that we approve the sponsorship of the 2023 Viterra Championship to be hosted in Neepawa on February 7th to the 12th, the 2023 at a gold package level of $4,000. Moved by Councillor Sisley, seconded by Councillor Pottinger. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Establish a new committee. Well, I guess I should be. So, just a consideration for a pilot project, a pilot committee that I've been thinking about, environmental health and volunteerism. So one of the things that looking at is engaging residents on environmental stewardship and providing assistance and recommendations to council on various environmental issues that may be of interest or concern to the town. So possible ideas is Earth Day, Eco Day, community cleanup. Other things that we've looked at is with the foster waste education, reuse and recycling programs with the food recycler. Looking also at promoting stewardship and preservation, conservation, protection and enhancement of natural environment, climate action plan, for example. Another thought on this would be some type of a green business award. Within our community, we have several committees, businesses and organizations that are working hard to have green initiatives on the go, and if there's an opportunity to kind of recognize some of that. And along with volunteerism, you know, there's things like tree planting. We've had community members in the past want to help out with at the cemetery with some of the projects we've done. So I guess what we would be looking at is just, you know, as we'll have to sit down and kind of hash this out, but I think the idea is that people would be able to put their names forward through an application process for volunteering and again, just the general environmental health of the community. I've talked to, if this is approved by our group, I've talked to Councillor Nadeau to look at chairing this, and I would be sitting on this committee as well. So that, I guess if you have any questions or concerns. Okay, and this is something that we would look at as a pilot for the next year and then make some decisions from there. So if there's no questions, Resolution 262 reads, be it resolved that we approve a pilot committee to be known as the Environmental Health and Volunteerism Committee, with Councillor Nadeau serving as chair and Mayor Headley as member. Be it further resolved that at the time of the next annual organizational meeting of council in 2023, decision will be made as to whether the council will formally amend the organization and procedures bylaw of the town of Neepawa to incorporate this committee. Moved by Councillor Kostenchuk, seconded by Councillor Sisley. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And thank you. Lagoon tenders, so, Pauline's gonna speak on that.
So this is Lagoon Phase 2. This has been a long drawn-out journey. Started in 2016, we began exploring the expansion of the lagoon system to accommodate community growth. And what I'll say to this point is, I don't think the community understands our lack of infrastructure at that point in time. When we received subdivision applications, we were watched very closely in relation to the ability to provide the capacity at a lagoon to take any additional, housing or commercial enterprises or anything. So anytime a subdivision came in, we had to actively be sourcing out feasibility studies to create a new lagoon and accept that sewage. So it's been a long drawn-out process to get to where we are today. In 2016, an opportunity was presented to participate in a moving bed biofilm reactor project called an MBBR project for the biological treatment of effluent, and Neepawa proceeded with the pilot of the system over the 2016-17 winter. This process representing a biological fixed film process targeting post-lagoon rectification. The success of the pilot formed the basis for a full-scale design for Neepawa, and once completed will be the first installation of its kind in Manitoba and even Canada for post-lagoon rectification. This project had to be divided into 2 phases due to how large it was and of course the financial ability to fund it. Phase 1 involved the rehabilitation of the first secondary lagoon cell with a new clay liner and berms and the construction of a wastewater treatment building with technological equipment. Phase 2 will ensure completion of the cell works to facilitate the wastewater flow through a single cell to the treatment facility. This will involve the full implementation of the MBBR system, the decommissioning of the primary and secondary cells, the installation of the aeration systems in the reformatted cell, and the addition of the UV components and the upgrading of the treatment facility to include a lab. Phase 1 cost us roughly $6.2 million. It was fully funded by way of reserves and grant funding. $3.1 million came from the town reserves that we set aside. $2.2 million came from federal funding through the Clean Water and Wastewater Fund, and then $900,000 came through the Water Services Board. Early estimates in 2018 to complete Phase 2 was coming in roughly at $5 million. In order to fund Phase 2, at the time, applications were submitted to what is now known as the Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program, the Federation of Canadian Municipalities for a loan under the Green Municipal Fund, as well as undergoing the process to secure a debenture in the instance that the town would have to fund the entire project ourselves. The required boring bylaw was actually given approval and put in place in 2019. Neepawa's application for a loan from the FCM was actually approved in June of 2019. This loan would equate to $4,368,300 with a grant of $655,200, basically securing us the $5 million we needed. So with the borrowing bylaw in place, FCM would actually become the lender to the debenture. Following 3 years of project delays and increased costs, in August of 2022, Neepawa was notified of approval under Investment in Canada Infrastructure Program for a total project cost of $6.3 million roughly. That included ineligible expenses of $570,000, some of which were in kind. So what's going to happen now, we have the loan from the FCM, but I can offset it now with funding that's coming to us. We're going to get $2.283 million from the federal government, or 40% of the project. We're going to get $1.9 million from the provincial government, or 33.33% of the project. And we'll be on the hook for 26.67% of the project, which is about roughly $1.5 million. So out of every dollar, we only have to pay almost 27 cents, which is a pretty good deal. The project finally went to tender and closed on November 18th. 5 bids were received and evaluated, and bids ranged from roughly $5.6 million to $9 million. The Associated Engineering and Water Services Board recommend accepting the low bid of T.O. Penner Construction in the amount of $5,597,432.14 plus GST, with the Manitoba Water Service Board agreeing to cost share the overage related to the increased budget. Just a note, by securing the ISEP funding, the necessity of debenture is greatly reduced, and we are currently reviewing the components of the loan and the borrowing bylaw to ensure the financial impact to complete the lagoon project is limited to the municipal contribution, with the goal of satisfying any debt in the short term. So we see no need to go on a 15-year debenture anymore. We just have to be able to manage the funds in and out as a cash flow to balance the budget and time it appropriately, such that when we send our submissions in for the funding from the province and the federal government, that we have the ability to still operate while those monies are en route back to us. So if we're looking for your support of TL Penner, 5.597 million.
Any questions on that? Okay, resolution 263, be it resolved that we accept the recommendation of the Manitoba Water Services Board to award the Neepawa Wastewater Treatment Facility Phase 2 project to TL Penner Construction for a total of $5,597,432.14 plus GST. Be further resolved that any additional costs for project engineering and consulting would be borne by the town of Neepawa, understanding that Manitoba Water Services Board is prepared to cost share the ineligible costs, engineering fees and interest costs at 50%. Moved by Councillor Nadeau, seconded by Deputy Mayor Parrott. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
You know, it's interesting on this. The first four were within $15,000 of a $6 million project, and then the last one was $3 million.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a good thing we do our due diligence and tender. Water supply, Colleen?
So a little background on this topic. With difficulties maintaining a consistent raw water pumping rate due to the maintenance issues with the existing wells at Oberon and Hummerston, in January 2022, the town of Neepawa partnered with the Water Services Board to conduct a water supply study. With no changes to the annual water withdrawal rate required, and what this means is we are not changing our license that we have, that we draw water out of the aquifer. That is not what this is about. There will be no increase. The focus of the project will be the addition of new wells near the existing Oberon supply wells to support a consistent and reliable raw water supply from either Hummerston or Oberon, or a combination of both. Previous to conducting the test hole drilling, the town did make contact with the municipality of North Cypress Langford to ensure they were aware of the upcoming test hole drilling within the municipal rights-of-way and address any concerns. They were also advised that this had no effect on our license. We received no concerns. Upon completion of the test holes, Water Services Board, Neepawa, and Associated Engineering met to review the results to determine the best location for the new wells and to outline the associated upgrades that will enable a consistent supply of raw water to the plant. So the recommendation is that to assist with planning for the 2023 budget year, we ask that Council support a resolution to request technical and financial assistance from the Manitoba Water Services Board to proceed with the installation of production wells, well mechanization, and the twinning or upsizing of the raw water pipeline from Hummerston connection to the Oberon connection to allow full redundancy from the Oberon well site. The first steps will involve a pre-design with an estimate of cost and followed by a full detailed design. Early estimates would suggest a total project cost of $1.5 to $2 million to be cost shared with the Water Services Board. So this is in advance of, we're not right at the project yet, but we need design to tell us where we need to go and get some estimates.
Okay. Questions? Resolution 264, be it resolved that we request technical and financial assistance from the Manitoba Water Services Board for upgrades to the raw water supply that would include the installation of new production wells at Oberon, well mechanization, and the twinning upsizing of the raw water pipeline from the Hummerston connection to Oberon to allow for full redundancy of the Oberon well site. Moved by Deputy Mayor Parrott, seconded by Councillor Kostenchuk. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Traffic impact study.
So as we all know, Prairie Mountain Health proposes to develop a 39-acre site on the east side of town as a new regional hospital. This will be a 63-bed site, approximately 83,000 square feet in size, and the project is, you probably noticed, some groundwork is already starting to happen out there, and they want to be ready by 2025 to open. So as part of the subdivision application, one of the requirements that was required by Manitoba Transportation and Infrastructure was a traffic impact study. So we have been proceeding, working in that vein to get this completed. We did receive finally a proposal from AECOM, who has worked for us in the past and was one of the only ones that actually responded to complete this particular work. And so what they're going to do, they've offered to study this proposed development, provide a summary and a report. They're going to look at traffic volumes, traffic analysis, conceptual design of off-site improvements, because we all know access to PTH 16 might involve some intersection improvements up there, which could be costly. And they're going to do it for a lump sum fee of $20,400. So we're looking to get this further in the queue by your support of choosing to go ahead with AECOM for $20,400 for a traffic impact study.
Councillor Gerard.
I happen to notice we were reading this traffic impact study. It doesn't specifically reference speed reduction, and I know that's something that we've talked about as a council, but it's not mentioned in this study. Is that something that's going to be solely based on provincial and highways, and they're not looking for that, not going to consider that information based on the study?
So as we all know, we submitted an application for a speed reduction, and that's been in the queue for quite a while now. Their review is going to be what exists, what is currently the status out there, because the speed reduction will clearly lessen the impact. We all know that they were waiting on our application. We have met with the minister and spoken with their department a few times to see where that application is. And more importantly, since the announcement of the hospital, needing to know where this at, because there's going to be a lot of changes happening out there, the increase in traffic and whatnot. We also know High Life is just a little bit further to the east there, which is significant. So we will continue those meetings with the department and those questions. An upcoming meeting as well with the Minister of Transportation and Infrastructure to keep putting these things forward, because I do think in the end it's going to have a big impact on no matter what happens out there.
Deputy Mayor.
Well, with sending sewer and water, like water's already sent out there, but looping the water, sending sewer out there, our industrial park is now going to be more valuable to businesses to come and buy and stuff, and then of course development happens where sewer and water is. Can we include that?
It won't be in the traffic impact study, but it will be addressed in the discussion we will be having with the minister in the next week or two.
Okay.
Okay, resolution 265, be it resolved that we accept the proposal of AECOM Canada to prepare a traffic impact study for the proposed new hospital development in Neepawa for a fee of $20,000 and $20,040 plus tax. Moved by Councillor Pottinger, seconded by Councillor Gerard. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Multi-use park trail.
Did you want to speak to this one?
Sure. So as in the previous proposal of AECOM, submissions and requests went out. Captain Murray was the only applicant that was able to submit an application. The other two denied that one. And we gave them the concept of the design and speaking also with the contingencies that we had to put in place with the ISIP program, which would be more First Nations consultation and the MMF consultation. So we ensured that our consultants are aware of this. That's why we may see a higher consultation fee on this project than in prior years. But that's a fee that will be reduced if the consultation is not needed. So it's speaking with the might not see clarity there. So this will encompass redesign of some of areas that may have seen some poor erosion control, just due to the nature of the site, and then we'll look at the addition of additional trails and some corrective actions kind of around that whole zone of the multi-use trail zone. So their fees will also include the tendering and project management of the contract when the construction goes into play.
Okay, questions?
So just for clarity though, this relates to phase 2 of the multi-use trail project, or known as the bike park, and it'll coincide with the, I think it's $570,000 that we're receiving through the Investing in Canada infrastructure program.
Great.
Could you explain out loud the Valley Trail option?
It's just a concept we're looking at right now. The focus will be on the multi-use trail area though.
replace your active transportation.
That's tied to a different concept that we're looking at right now.
Okay, resolution 266, be it resolved that we accept the proposal of Scotland, Miller and Murray for professional services related to proceeding with phase 2 of the multi-use trail park project for a maximum estimated cost of $48,900 plus applicable tax. Moved by Councillor Costa, seconded by Councillor Gerard. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Dutch Elm, Denise, do you want to speak to that?
So this is basically essentially the removal of all our DD trees that have been tagged around town. Town staff had already attacked and removed the trees that they felt they could handle. The remainder I compiled into a list and then put some invitations out. I contacted 4 separate companies, 3 of which have submitted bids for us. And Colleen has a summary of those bids.
So the 3 bids, the lowest were $3,550 plus tax, and then the other 2 bids were roughly a little better than $9,000 and a little better than $12,000. So pretty clear little bid is being recommended to Middleton Enterprises.
Okay. Questions? Resolution 267, be it resolved that we accept the quote of Middleton Enterprises for the amount of $3,550 plus tax for the removal of 18 elm trees identified for removal as part of the Dutch Elm Disease Management Program for 2022. Moved by Councillor Bonder, seconded by Councillor Nadeau. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Bylaws. I guess this is bylaw 3219.
So Town of Neepawa Road Opening Bylaw 3219-22. This bylaw was given first reading in November. It was circulated to provincial departments following first reading and other agencies for their commenting. Of the 7 departments and agencies that did respond, there were no concerns, but there were some comments from Hydro, Bell MTS, and Western. Bell MTS just indicated that any removal or relocation of Bell MTS existing facilities as a result of the proposed road opening will be at the expense of the developer or customer. Manitoba Hydro doesn't have concerns, but they will address and monitor as if there's any concerns or easement requirements through the related subdivision application. And Westman Communications just have an underground cable that will cross under the new road on the east side of Broadway Avenue that will be required to be protected during construction. So the municipality may proceed to 2nd and 3rd readings of this bylaw tonight. The 3rd reading will be recorded vote. So this will open the roads to give service to the new hospital on southwest of 341415, which is east of Neepawa.
Deputy Mayor Stewart.
What is this road to be called?
The east-west road will be basically an extension of Hamilton and will be named as Hamilton. We've already had to give some property civic addressing to the hospital there, so it's Hamilton Street. And the other one is not been given, but it'll probably be, I guess, up for discussion. The north-south one once it's built to PD16. Right now it's just the road to the north-south road to the hospital.
Everybody else with the previous mayor listing you.
Yeah.
Okay, resolution 268, this is second reading. Be it resolved that bylaw number 3219-22 being bylaw of the town of Neepawa to open municipal roads in southwest 341415W be read for now for a second time. Moved by Councillor Gerard, seconded by Councillor Klostenchuk. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And now we move into our 3rd reading, our recorded vote. Resolution 269, be it resolved that the bylaw number 3219-22 being the bylaw of the town of Neepawa to open municipal roads in southwest 341415 WB now read for the 3rd time and passed. Moved by Counselor Nadeau, seconded by Counselor Pottinger. Excuse me. All in favor? And against? Carried. Okay, so at this time, I guess this concludes the regular portion of our meeting, so thank you and good night.